Lecture 8. Gateway. The dancers stood on a two-step elevated stage, so that there was a natural gap between those who came to dance and those who came to watch. The host randomly pulled the name of a well-known dancer, Lynx, out of a hat. People cheered. According to the format, Lynx had to call out another dancer to battle him on stage. Instead of deliberately choosing someone, however, he decided to select his opponent randomly by making himself into a human spin wheel. He propelled himself into a backspin, covered his eyes, and extended his arm above his head. When his body finally stopped spinning, his arm pointed away from the dancers on stage and directly at Dan Trey, standing among the spectators. The crowd erupted in oohs because he was an older family man who had not danced hip-hop in many years, while the much younger Lynx was a nimble b-boy. Lynx looked embarrassed, but nonetheless, he called out the respected elder to battle. Exercise 1. Our landlady was nice to my mom and dad, and they stayed friends for many years. She and her husband had a young daughter with Down syndrome. She was funny-looking to me, as I had never been around a Down syndrome person before. When the landlady came over, she brought her daughter along. We played together, but at times she was very rough with me. I felt sorry for her and knew she didn't understand what she was doing. The landlady told my mother she appreciated me playing with her daughter. She always got excited when her mom told her they were coming to see us. I felt good about myself. It wasn't difficult to show a little kindness, and I tried to continue that approach always. Exercise 2. Hans and Willy, two German soldiers stationed in France, stopped off at a nearby farm to get some drink and to rest for a while. Hans' French wasn't as good as Willy's, but he could make himself understood, and he and Willy spoke it together all the time. Willy corrected his mistakes. It was because Willy was so useful to him in this way that he had made him his friend, and he knew that Willy admired him. Hans never lost an opportunity to practice his French, and he tried to talk once he arrived at the farm, but the French couple in the farmhouse wouldn't show him any attention. He told them that he was a farmer's son himself, and, when the war was over, was going back to the farm. He had been sent to school in Munich because his mother wanted him to go into business, but his heart wasn't in it, and so after high school, he had gone to an agricultural college. Exercise 3. Willy's father, Robert, was a chief petty officer in the Canadian Navy, and was stationed at the Canadian Forces Base in Esquimalt, the Canadian military's main Pacific naval base that is located at the western part of Victoria. He was a tough man who liked hiking in the forests of Vancouver Island with other petty officers. He once went overnight camping with his wife and child, but Willy made such a scene that he never took them camping again. He was not impressed with his son. He wanted him to be a man, not a baby. He gave up trying to make a man out of Willy and left the care of his child to his wife. He realized that was a mistake. She would continue mothering him, and that would simply extend his childhood even when physically he would eventually be turning into an adult. Exercise 4. King Charles II asked Bishop Edward Stillingfleet why, when Stillingfleet preached at court, he always read his sermons. He had heard that when he preached elsewhere, he always delivered his sermons without preparation. Stillingfleet explained that awe of the king made him afraid of forgetting what he had to say, so he preferred to read when he had the royal family in the audience. Encouraged by the king's favorable reaction to his polite reply, the bishop then asked if he might put a question of his own. Why, he asked Charles, did he always read his speeches to the House of Commons when it could not be that he was in awe of his audience? Charles replied kindly, I have asked them so often and for so much money that I am ashamed to look them in the face.